programming, functions are treated as first-class citizens, and hence we can pass functions as arguments. Let us see some examples using JavaScript. Let us begin by having one function as an argument to a function. Let us define a function named f that expects a function named f2 and a condition named x. So if the condition is true, let us call the function f2. So outside the function definition f, let us invoke f and pass in the appropriate arguments. So the first argument is a function that we define called as f3, and the second argument is a condition, say if x is equal to an integer value 100. Let us define x to be a constant with the value 100. Similarly, let us invoke a function f4 if x has a string value, say hello. Let us do one more. Let us invoke a function f5 if x is, say, between 0 and 100. So if x is less than 100 and x is greater than 0, let us have f5 called. So let us now define these functions. Function f3, within which let us do a simple console.log and print out a message x is 100. Similarly, let us define the remaining two functions f4 and f5. For f4, let us print out the message x is hello, and for f5, let us print out an appropriate message, say x is between 0 and 100. Okay, so we define the function that takes or expects a function as a argument. That function is invoked here in lines 9, 10 and 11, wherein as the first argument we pass in f3, f4 and f5. So when f3 is passed, the function is defined and it is called in line 5. Okay, let us now run this program. Node program name is test.js. We get x is 100. Now these all are named functions. Rather, if we want, we can also have anonymous functions. So instead of having f3, we can directly define the function as the first parameter without the function name. Similarly, f4, we define it as the first parameter without the function name. And similarly for f5. If we run this program, we still get the expected output. If we change the value of x to a string now, say hello, we should be getting x is hello. Similarly, if x has a value between 0 and 99, say 0 and 100, say the value is 99, when we run the program, we get the message x is between 0 and 100. Okay. Now let us see how we can call a function with two arguments which is not a condition. So let us define a function similarly called as say f that expects a function as an argument, say f2, and this time say it expects two arguments x comma y, and within the function let us call the function f2 that takes in these two arguments x comma y. Outside the function we can call the function f, we can call the function f and pass in the appropriate parameters. So let us say we call our named function f3 and pass in say 10 comma 10. Similarly, let us call one more function, a named function f4, and say pass in 20 comma 10 and define the function f3 that say returns the value of the parameter x comma y, returns say the multiplication of x and y, so x star y. Similarly, let us define the function f4 that performs division. Now if we run the program, well, there is no output because we are returning the values but we are not printing them. So let us do a console.log and call f. Similarly, let us do a console.log and call f with f4 and 20 comma 10 as the parameters. Now if we run the program, we get 102. Okay, so this is also possible. So here also we are passing in or having one function as an argument to a function, but it takes two more arguments which are values, and we call the function that takes these two arguments. Okay. Now we can also have more than one function as arguments to a function. So let us have two functions as argument to a function. So let us similarly define another function f, but this time it takes in two functions, say f2 comma f3. And then say let us have a condition x. Say f2 comma f3. Okay, so within the function, if the condition is true, if x, we say f2 or we call f2, else we call the function f3. Now outside the function definition, we can call f and pass in the required parameters. So we can pass in two functions and then x. So we can this time probably define a anonymous function. So we can say function we can specify console.log. We can print out a message for the condition if x equal to say 100, and let us have the value 100 for x. So if x is equal to 100, this is the third parameter, this is the first parameter, which is a inline function. So similarly, we can define our second argument as another named function or inline function. Let us have a inline function here as well. So we have got two inline function. So if x is 100, we call this function. If x is not 100, we call this function. So within the first function, let us print out an appropriate message inside console.log, say x is 100. This function, the second function, the second parameter is executed if x is not 100. So let us have an appropriate message here as well. X is not 100. Now these parameters can be anonymous functions or it can be named functions. Let us now run this program. It says x is 100. So if x has some other different value, say hello, we should get x is not 100. X is not 100. So these are some examples through which we can see in functional programming we can pass functions as arguments and see how flexible and readable the code is. Thank you.